Solving radical equations is pretty straightforward. There's really a three-step process. You isolate the radical expression or expressions, you square or cube it to eliminate the radical, and then you just have to solve it algebraically from there. I'm going to give you a few examples. These are some examples you can kind of take forward, and this is how they pretty much are all solved. So I'm going to start off with the square root of 2x minus 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Now my radical expression here is the square root of 2x minus 5, right? So I got to get that thing by itself, and that's the key thing. Now you'll notice that we have this negative 3, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Okay. When I do that, this side's going to be the square root of 2x minus 5, and this side is going to give me 2 plus 3, which is 5. So now I've got this expression where I have my radical equal to a number. So that's my isolated. I've isolated the radical expression. Okay. Now, square or cube to eliminate. No index given, so that's understood to be a square root. So I've got to square both sides. So I will now, my approach would be to take each side and square it. Okay. So when I square both sides, what happens to my radical expression? Well, the radical cancels. So now I have 2x minus 5 on this side. On my other side, that's 5 squared, which is 25. Okay? Radical expression's gone. I just need to solve. So how do I solve this? Well, add 5 on both sides. So now I have 2x is 25 plus 5, which is 30. Okay? Almost done. Last step. Divide by 2. Cancel out x is equal to 15. Now I don't have it up here in the list of steps that you need, but it is crucially important that you do this extra step. You got to go back and make sure that it actually works. If I put 15 into my original expression, so I'm square root of 2 times 15 minus 5 minus 3 equals 2. I've got to make sure that whatever I have in my original radical expression, if it's a square root, this has got to be positive. 2 times 15 is 30. 30 minus 5 is 25. So this is the square root of 25 minus 3 equals 2. So that does actually check out. So that does happen where sometimes you get something called an extraneous solution. In this case, it didn't happen. What we have is 5 minus 3 equals 2. So it checks out. So we're good to go. That is, in fact, our solution. Final answer, x equals 15. Okay? Okay, let's look at a second example. We have square root of 4 minus 3x is equal to the square root of 2x plus 19. Now, in this case, we should notice that the radical expressions, they're already isolated. I have a square root on the left side, I have a square root on the right side. So my step pattern is actually a bit easier. I just need to square both sides in order to eliminate my radicals on both sides. Now what happens when I square the square root? Well, the square root when squared is the radical sign is eliminated. So 4 minus 3x on this side, the square root cancels out on this side as well. You might write it like that. So I have 2x plus 19 on my other side. Okay? Now 4 minus 3x and 2x plus 19, obviously I've got to do a little bit of moving. I've got to move some variables to get them all on the same side. I've got to move my other numbers to the other side. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. I'm just going to move the numbers to the right side and the variables I'll keep on the left side. So I'll subtract 4 here, subtract 4 there, right? Negative 3x equals 2x plus 15, okay? Now I'll subtract 2x on this side and subtract 2x on that side. Negative 3 and negative 2, that becomes negative 5x, right? Equals 15. So solve for x, divide by negative 5. Okay? 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. Okay? Now, each step here, we got to make sure that it actually does match up with what we had before. So 4 minus 3x is my radical, 2x plus 19 is my other radical. I'd want to kind of figure out what each one of those are separately. Okay, so square root of 4 minus 3 times, well, negative 3, right? I want to figure out what that is, and I want to see if it's equal to the square root of 2 times negative 3 plus 19. Okay, so let's kind of look at what we got here. 4 minus 3 times negative 3, that's 4 minus negative 9. So the square root of 4 minus negative 9. Does that in fact equal the square root of, well, that's negative 6 plus 19? Well, let's see. 4 minus negative 9 is 4 plus 9, or 13. On this side, negative 6 plus 19 is 13. Now you'll notice that both the square root on the right side and the left side, they both are the square root of a positive number. So these are both valid values. So yes, this is the correct answer. If you ever end up with a square root that has a negative value underneath it, that means that there's no real solution. Okay? So, final answer, x equals negative 3. Alright, let's look at what happens when we have a cube root. Same idea in principle. The one difference that would happen between the square root and cube root is that a cube root can be negative. Okay, you can have a cube root of a negative number because a negative number cubed is negative, whereas you can't have a square root of a negative number because both positive and negative numbers, when you square them, are positive. Okay, so that's a key difference here. The negative sign isn't a deal breaker, as it were. So let's look at this expression. We have 4x plus 6, the cube root of that, plus 3 is equal to 1. Now if I'm trying to solve this, I need to isolate my radical expression. So to do that, I would simply subtract 3 on both sides, right? Subtract 3 there, subtract 3 there, see what happens. This 3 cancels out, so I have the cube root of 4x plus 6 equals 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. How do I get rid of my radical sign here? Well, square or cube. I don't want to square it. Squaring will not fix it. Cubing is my option. I'll cube both sides, and that preserves my equality on both sides as well. Okay? So the cube root cancels out with the cube. So that leaves us with 4x plus 6. Okay? Now negative 2, when you cube that, that's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 again. It's going to be negative 8. So 4x plus 6 equals negative 8. Now we just have to solve for x, solve it algebraically. Okay? I'll subtract 6 on both sides, minus 6 and minus 6. And that'll get my x term by itself. So 4x equals negative 14. Okay? To solve for x, I'd have to divide by 4. Okay, that cancels that out. So x equals negative 14 over 4. Well, that actually does simplify to negative 7 over 2. Okay? Negative 7 over 2 is our solution. I'll leave it to you. You can verify that if I plug negative 7 over 2 back into my equation for x, that will in fact validate it. Okay? Okay guys, we're to our last expression, our last example here. This is kind of similar to the one that we did two previous to this one, where we have a square root equal to a square root. In this case, we have a cube root equal to a cube root. Okay? You'll notice that the expressions are isolated. In other words, it's a cube root on one side, it's a cube root on the other side. So that means if we cube both sides, that will cancel out the radicals. Okay? So the cube root will cancel out my radicals. Now what does that leave me with? It leaves me with, on the left side, it's 6 minus x. On the right side, it's 9 plus 2x. Okay? So if I wanted to solve this one, I could move the x's to one side. In this case, I could add x to both sides first if I wanted to. I could also subtract 2x. It doesn't really matter. But that'll cancel out. So 6 is equal to 9 plus 3x. Okay? Then I just subtract 9 on both sides. Negative 9, negative 9. 6 minus 9 is negative 3. That cancels. 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And I have x equals negative 1. Okay, let's check and make sure that it works out. Okay, substituting in here, the cube root of 6 minus negative 1 should equal the cube root of 9 plus 2 times negative 1. Let's check them out. Under the radical, adding together 6 minus negative 1, that's the cube root of 7. Okay. Over here, under our radical, cube root of 9 plus negative 2 is 7. Are those two expressions identical? Yes. Checks out. Okay. I hope that helps you with solving radical equations. Isolate, square, cube, and then solve algebraically. In the last step, you should always go back and check to make sure it actually works. Okay? Good luck.